Welcome to Poets at War, a podcast documenting the brood of writers, where art, theology, philosophy, and fun beckon your ears. Today on the program, we intercept a transmission discussing the mechanics of legends. Legends in Guardians of Atlanta, the redeeming qualities of Beauty and the Beast, and the struggle of balancing creative work with the demands of the day job.
God of song, said the warrior bard, though all the world betray thee, one sword at least thy right shall guard, one faithful heart shall praise thee.
Recorded October 9th, 2025.
That are like gods or, you know, legendary characters and things of that nature. Most of them are what you would call a legend, which is essentially an enchantment that saves the personality and memories of that individual into an object that then, through whatever the enchantment is, can possess an individual. The possession is of varying levels. It can some of them can completely erase everything about the person and literally just leave the body a shell and start driving. And then there's other ones that are more, you know, they can even be willed out of, you know, it just depends. But essentially, these objects, these legends are a big problem in this world, for lots of reasons you could imagine. And some of them are, you know, they claim they're Odin, they claim they're this, they claim they're that, you know, whatever. And not all of them are overt, some of them are covert, very much so. But Drew actually has extreme knowledge of how to actually destroy legends so that they don't come back. There's other people who do too, but he's like very, very like thorough. If he gets hold of a legend, it's done. He actually has and it's very much like, we don't know how he's doing this exactly, because he's against magic and most of his things are mechanical, but he has on his belt at all times a sort of like pocket-sized stone cup, and it is literally a kiln that has some kind of molten metal in it that he will use for smaller legend objects like necklaces or rings or jewelry or things of that nature, even things that are longer, you know, like a rod or something like that. He will take that and then submerge it into the molten metal and destroy it that way, right? So like he's a very, very interesting individual, and I really like doing the flip because Marlon is even though he's trying, he's still very screwed up, and he's so without community that he doesn't always think rightly about various things, you know, and his heart's in the right place. He had a lot of other things happen to him. He was kidnapped as a kid and raised by a witch, you know, all kinds of other things. Like he had a horrible life, and became a Christian and basically decided to do what was right no matter what. And he doesn't always know what that is, but he's trying. And, you know, Amy is sometimes absolutely insane, split personalities, all kinds of other things, trying to find out who she really was, all that stuff. And so it's sort of like, he realistically is like this beautiful changed soul on the inside that is just starved for any kind of real community. And so you could say he's beautiful on the inside and ugly on the outside, and she's the flip. She is ugly on the inside, where she's actually from, which I'm not going to get into because that's a whole other thing and you'd really have to do the stories. But where she's from, she was not good. I'll say that much. She was not good at all. And now she's coming around, but she's got the beauty on the outside. So I'm doing the Beauty and the Beast thing a little bit. I'm doing all kinds of other things. And yeah, it's it's all coming from, my many years of listening to things like Evanescence and watching The Crow and all of those other sorts of stories kind of merging into my own thing. So, yeah.
Sounds very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alex really likes it. He's always on me about it. I'm going to read him some when I get up there this weekend, but I've been working on my Patreon. Most people don't know I have one because I haven't promoted it, but I'm starting to learn more of the ropes, and they've changed some things that have made it a lot more amenable to what I do. And so I think that minus edits for things people want off the record, I'm going to be putting my recordings up there, the raw recordings for Poets at War, as a benefit, because that's an easy thing. And then my stories up there, and the stories, I'll release everything but the finales, which are usually multi-parters, on and through Brood Tales, and trickle those out through Poets at War. But if you want like them themselves and to actually go into the story and go through it, they'll all be available on the Patreon. So I'm playing around with it, seeing how that works. But yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. So what you been up to?
I got a typewriter.
Nice.
That's
fun.
Cool. Still been mostly working, kind of going through some stuff. No, I'm thinking the character dynamics that you have in this story sound depressingly similar to one of my works in progress, but
oh yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure they're not like what I'm doing at all, because I didn't get into anything about Amy's past. That's a whole other crazy ball of wax that is. So Freak Show is a spin-off of Guardians of Atlanta. They show up originally in Guardians of Atlanta, and Guardians of Atlanta becomes its own thing, and Freak Show and Eclipse become their own thing. Their season 1 is literally all about finding out exactly who she is. And it's yeah. It's intense. It is intense, the lengths they go to. Do what?
It doesn't sound like it's a pleasant surprise for them.
Not at all, actually. But it's really kind of, how do you deal with that kind of news, like, and from a Christian perspective, so, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
Sure, you're good. No problem. So what is your work in progress, and how is it similar, and how is it different, right, from what you can tell? If you mind talking about it.
I haven't really been working on that one in a long time. It's more in the fantasy genre, but it's about angels and demons mostly, and just like trying to think where the beginning is. Yeah, I don't want to. It's a really long project, so I'd rather not get into it right now.
That's okay. Not a problem.
The girl lost her memory though, and
hey Jesse,
the whole thing, like, she lost her memory. She was like something really. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. No, not at all.
I was just saying I didn't want to talk about something. A really long project.
Oh, gotcha.
What you been up to,
project?
He said, "Well,
feel
what's the
left
project?"
Out. It's fine. It's fine. I get it.
She was
okay,
just
whatever.
Have I told you about Freak Show yet, or no? One of my superhero characters, the dark one.
Is this in Guardians of Atlanta?
That as a no. He is at that toward, like, he's the kind of catalyst that leads into the finale of Guardians of Atlanta.
Gotcha. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't recall. At least.
Okay. Yeah. I was just telling her about that, but she said some of the character dynamics are remarkably similar to a project of hers, and I tried to open the door, and she said she hasn't worked on it in a long time, and it's too much. It is too much. Let me sum up, but maybe not sum up because there's too much.
From the theoretical to the practical, or perhaps the impractical, our squad shifts gears to discuss the medicinal properties of tobacco, the industrial utility of the mustache, and a groundbreaking scientific theory regarding wizards, beards, and static electricity.
Bro, I'm gonna see you in about a week.
Dude, I know.
We're gonna have beer and psalms in like a week from now at this time.
Yeah, literally by this time. Well, I mean, I'll 20, so and I need to be driving, so no beer for me. I'm also allergic, but we could be, okay. And that's what counts. Yeah. No, really. Yes. I think it's
tobacco though. Tobacco, I have a little bit left, so there is that.
Not on the record. Well, actually, legally, I can in domiciles with like parent or guardian.
I think you can in
approval,
Tennessee,
which is strange. I think it's different in Tennessee, but usually it's if you're below 21, you need like adult supervision, which is ironic because it's the worst. It's the worst loophole of all time.
Oh, absolutely. Buy tobacco in Tennessee. What age can you buy tobacco in Tennessee? Let's go. Let's see. Apparently in July 1st, 2025, they changed it slightly, question mark?
For the purchase of it, yes.
So 21 to purchase now in Tennessee. That's so dumb. But apparently it was different not that long ago. So fun. Anyway. You can't have a cigarette, but you can die for the country. It drives me nuts.
Right? I can't even get a cigarette while I'm in the trenches dying. I am not a cigarette smoker. Cigarettes are
cigarettes
the devil,
are gross.
Literally. Right? I don't mean to be too much of a but no, really, I think they're the devil. Yep. But if I was dying in the trenches,
probably.
I think I'd probably want a cigarette.
Probably.
At least something.
Just to take the artillery edge off.
Heck, I would take a wet tobacco leaf on my arm.
Right? Very medicinal, or so I'm told.
It actually is, though. That's the funny part. Like people don't realize, like, outside of smoking, like, as a very, very basic and immediate salve to wounds and things, like, wet tobacco is actually really, really good for that sort of a thing. Like, for immediate pain relief and for immediate healing of, big wounds and things like that. Like, people don't even realize that. It's so funny.
Yeah, but if you smoke it, you're sinning.
Right? Hilarious.
This is weird logic there.
Yeah.
But also all the phosphorus and tobacco. Anyway. They put so much... I don't know if you knew, but that's why cigarettes have... That's the biggest reason why cigarettes are such a problem and so gross in general, is because of the stuff that they put in it to make it light easier. One of which is phosphorus.
All the accelerants,
smoking phosphorus.
Yeah.
So dumb.
But what's funny, people will have problems with tobacco products. People have... I was just talking with a friend of mine, and I was telling him about some asbestos stuff, like all the side paneling on my house is all asbestos. Luckily, it's rent, though, so I don't have to worry about remediating it or anything. I think that's the right word. And he was like, asbestos is not a problem. And I was taking it back at first, and I was like, dude, there are no types of insulation that don't cause you problems. If you use people who work with concrete, for crying out loud, if they get that if they get that dust in their lungs, guess where it goes? Nowhere. it just stays there forever.
Yep.
Like if you work around enough concrete, you can suffocate. And he was like, and we still use it.
Well, one of
I
the
was
big
like-
things that I don't know if you knew this, but like a lot of people talked about the what do you call it? So a lot of the earlier coal miners did better and didn't have a lot of the black lung stuff as immediately. They would get it later on. And then styles changed for male facial hair, and we saw huge surges in black lung. Do you
Because
think
they-
you know why? They grow their mustaches long, and it would actually act as a filter for the worst of it.
Well, that's interesting.
And that's scientifically
In other
proven.
words, I can scientifically go into a coal mine and be just fine.
Right. There you go.
That's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It works.
But you see my point.
as a
Like
filter.
when they actually grow. Yes, exactly. You could do that.
That's why
too,
you
yes.
have nostril
But-
hair, right? People
There you go.
who
Yes.
get
Yes.
rid of all their nose hair are crazy. Because how else are you going to stop the dust from getting directly into your lungs?
That's what they're telling everybody: breathe through your nose. If you did
Yep.
ask.
Admittedly, you do have some people whose nose hair does get admittedly too long. But even in those cases, getting rid of all of it, that doesn't make sense.
It's just it is crazy to me that like we were sitting there, COVID, all the other stuff, like with the particles and the mask and all the other stuff that went down, and then there were guys that literally I saw them strap a band across their beard, across their mouth, and people were like, "Oh, that's not good enough," and I'm like, "It's probably way better."
Probably way better than the surgical masks. Yeah, that's only for particulates. I'm not going to get into all the science.
Well, the
behind it.
static cling that occurs in beard hair is actually like extra filtering. I'm not even joking. That's why you get
Really?
like lint and stuff in your beard and all that other stuff. Yeah. It's really
Filtering.
crazy, the actual science behind that. Which
Beards.
some people who are more like, sci-fi thinky about fantasy stories have been talking about that makes so much sense why all the dwarves have beards, because they're working in the mines.
And you have like ways to remove the excess static electricity. Your beard can be electric?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Dude.
Mhm.
Oh my word. And it like helps increase hydration if you use like dryer sheets and just rub it.
Yep. There's a lot of stuff you can do.
Wizards have beards too, to help with the electricity.
Yes.
It into their staff.
There you go. It's recharging their staff. I love that. Slowly recharging their staff with with the static electricity off their clothes. Yeah.
I think you're onto something. That would actually be a really funny detail to include in a book or something. Like the reason they have longer
That
beards
would be
is to
really
harness.
cool.
It's to harness more magic.
The longer the beard the wizard has, the more powerful he is.
It makes sense. But their weakness is dryer sheets.
There you go. And then they have to go running to get a static charge back up. I'm imagining like a Christopher Lloyd style wizard, and he's just like, "Oh, Marty, you hit me with dryer sheets. Now I have to charge things back up."
And he puts on like wool socks and starts shuffling across carpet in the middle of like it's like Saruman and Gandalf are fighting each other, and he starts rubbing him across the floor. But as he's doing it, he has like wool socks, and he's just rubbing it on the carpet. Oh my gosh,
That's awesome.
This is all the kind of
I
stuff
don't know, man.
apprentice has to learn.
What'd you say?
A wizard's apprentice would have to learn all this stuff, taking notes.
Get longer beard is number one. Invest in some. Yeah, exactly.
Or at least where to get them. No, I kind of want to write a story about it, but
That would be pretty. that could be like the next challenge. I know Brendan is using like randomizer, but like wizard and socks would be pretty funny to as a category.
Well, the wizards
or beard and magic.
and they're Quakers, but he wore bright red socks. He's colorblind.
Stand by for a briefing on corporate superheroes, the genius of 1960s Batman, and why the Munsters might just be the nicest family on television.
Hey, Jesse. 4.4K on YouTube for the most badass Christian bard in history clip.
No kidding. I saw that one earlier on Facebook.
I saw it on Instagram.
Pretty substantial.
Yep. You saw that one too, Abby?
Yeah, I saw it on Instagram yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or earlier. Maybe yesterday. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. I got to tell the whole story to Jesse. That'll be on Poets at War tomorrow night. But yeah, we had a good time talking about that about a month ago. Be starting to work through all these things that we recorded. And Jesse, I told her I'm starting to dig further into Patreon, and I realized mine is taking out off-record stuff. I think a very easy thing to start putting up is the full recordings. Like I said, minus off the record stuff for Poets at War, and then all of my stories up there, and then essentially only release through Poets at War my stories. That's the only place you get them for free, and not the finales, which are usually multi-part, right? Like the season finales. So basically, like push people to Patreon for all of that kind of a thing. What do you think of that?
Does that mean all the off the record stuff, including the need to know basis, or is that
No,
is that more just like
all the off the
surrounding...
record stuff goes away. Like I edit all of that out, and then we put up.
And then you just do full length. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I misinterpreted there. Then misunderstood.
No. Yeah, no, I'm not putting off the record stuff on Patreon. No.
I was gonna say, I was like, there's probably been a few work things that probably shouldn't be public.
The opposite of that. No. I'm scanning through them completely.
Gotcha. Yeah, that actually would not be it. So long as it's not too much extra work, that actually is a good idea, especially
it's barely
if it pays
anything.
for itself.
Yeah, it's barely anything. So
it'd be like the first export you'd make.
Yeah.
Likely.
Well, not even an export. It's literally when I hit stop, if it's no off the record, and then it would be the first export I make otherwise. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And since it's Patreon, since they're paying for it, they do get it earlier. So
exactly.
So long as there's an actual... I'm getting echo, I think, from your earbuds or something.
Not
so long
mine,
as there is...
Let me see. Maybe from Abby.
What's yours?
Go from Joshua.
Yeah. It's showing up as green whenever it's with yours. I don't know what's up with that. Well, it stopped. Yeah, it stopped.
Okay, well, I turned my earbuds down a little bit, but go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I can't talk with myself talking. I'm very distracting.
Yeah, no, I understand being jammed. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't even know where. Patreon. Yeah, if they're paying for it, that would probably help pretty significantly. And if it's not adding too much editing time, it probably just helps with the rest of Poets at War. This was the question. Is there an audience? Is there already an audience of people who want to pay for that?
I don't know yet, but the other thing that I'm going to be doing is streaming. So these would be like the VODs. They'd be the unlisted VODs, basically, right?
Gotcha.
So that kind of a thing in that same vein as what the streamers do. And so I think it'll go well. The other thing that's a poll is, like I said, all my stories will be up there minus the finales is my idea, right? Or no, excuse me. All my stories will be up on Patreon. But the only ones I'll be sharing will be through Brood Tales on Poets at War, and I won't be sharing the season finales. So when we get to a point where a season finale is coming up, it's like, okay, you've heard this story so far. Now go to Patreon to finish it up, etc. So That's the idea. With Brood Tales. Obviously, I want to do more people's Brood Tales, but this would be my Patreon for Poets at War and for my stories, basically. So,
I don't mean to overextend my my ability and my time, but something that I have considered for a little while is a story that I've wanted to make for a long time, many years. I was considering starting to write it at least in a short form version for something like Brood Tales and releasing it every now and then. That being said, I have way too many creative endeavors to actually go forward on that. It's just me saying that's an idea that I've had and I thought could be cool, but I don't know if it's actually possible.
Well, maybe it will be one day. Who knows?
Who knows?
Just keep it in mind. Abby knows what that's like. Miss work in progress that was old and there is too much.
Yeah. How old is this one? I think I started the idea for it in like 2020, if not 21. So it's 4 or 5 years old as an idea, and I've been like itching to do it for a while.
My oldest story currently is actually my superhero comedy series that I began in 2004. So, yeah. And I only have 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah, it's the one with Captain Majestic who talks like this and Robo Girl, his daughter. Not daughter, niece. Excuse me. I've done that.
Have I heard this one?
I don't know if you ever not.
Was it during like
great.
A broadcast? I might have not been there for it.
Probably a broadcast, yeah. It was a Tuesday on a week that seemed normal to most. A buff-looking, middle-aged hunk of a man walked down the street so proud he could boast. And it goes on, he something in the bright blue blazer he wore. He strolled right up to his suburban home and nearly ripped off the door. Anyway.
Nearly.
Oh boy, but yeah, no, it's basically like the world governments have taken over and corporatized superheroes. So basically they still have, the big like personalities and stuff because that sells merchandise, but most of the people who are actually superpowered work in the offices supporting the superhero teams. And so basically Captain Majestic is this like 50-year-old guy with your basic Superman kind of powers, like super strength and flight and whatever else, who's been working there and is kind of, a stupid jock paper pusher character who's been trying to, be able to pull his own team together for decades and has been like the most loyal paper pusher ever. And his niece, Dana, her parents died in a car crash and she was turned into a cyborg and has 24/7 connection to the internet and all kinds of other crazy stuff. Oh man,
that sounds terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's see. The other characters are Behemoth Jr., who is the dumb little baby version of what is essentially Godzilla in this story. Then we have, so it's literally like Godzilla's child, essentially. Then we have an old Asian master character who is the janitor in the building and was disgraced by my team and lost all honor, et cetera, et cetera. And so he's just itching to get back on a team and no more smelly garbage, no more cleaning floors. Could you give me a place to stay? I'm great at making chores or doing chores. Anyway, then the last two are two really, really big recruits in there because they have like kind of like a college system, like for recruits to these teams. They have a draft process to make sure everything's fair, all that other fun stuff. And so basically like Captain Majestic can't afford anybody because you have like, there's a release fee for releasing someone early from the academy. Otherwise he has to wait for the draft. And it's this weird bureaucratic process. And the two that end up on his team through crazy happenstance and whatever else, crazy hijinks, are Fireman and Hot Chick. Fireman is like a flying pyrokinesis guy who's just a Midwestern farmer. type, and then literally a tiny chicken, baby chicken, that breathes fire and talks like Rocket Raccoon.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
hot chick. And yes, he's male. Anyway.
You say fireman?
Fireman and
so
hot
it's
chick, yeah.
Clearly like
Yeah.
a human man, and then you have hot chick.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes. It's very literal. So that's their team. And yeah, it's one of my favorite things that I've written so far. Like the team comes together after the first episode, but then the second episode is about like them dealing with the court process after he clearly can't. Hot Chick and Fireman clearly can't legally join their team, and instead of like doing regular poetry for the part where the prosecution, who is the most monotone, boring, suited character ever, who is representing the Superhero Alliance, I actually drop out of verse and into full legalese and do it just like this, talking straight like this. It would be unfair that they would possibly join the academy because I don't know. So it's very, very like screwball hijinks ridiculous, and it is so fun to write.
I bet.
Sounds awesome.
Take a listen.
Yep. That one's called Shape. They are they opted to take Shaw, which is Superhero Alliance. That's the North American world superpower that runs all the corporate bureaucracy of superheroes. They opted to take that because he's a very faithful paper pusher and loves his company. And so he opted to take the first three letters, Superhero Alliance, and then add PE on the end for Patrol Ensemble. So they are the Superhero Alliance Patrol Ensemble.
That's a $5 name.
Yes. So Shape, that's the name of that one. It was originally Shaft, and then I changed it. It was going to be a Superhero Alliance fight team years and years ago, but then I was like, I think Shape better. It's funnier. Superhero Alliance Patrol Ensemble.
Like just trying a little too hard with their name. Name theme. Hold on, give me a second. I need to grab something.
That sounds.
It is absolutely ridiculous, and I love writing it. It's yeah. It a lot of it's based off of Powerpuff Girls, and the Dexter's Laboratory had a secondary cartoon that they'd show called the Justice Friends.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever watched Dexter's Lab, but it's like they would basically they'd have three segments on the show, and it was either like, it was usually a Dexter episode, then something else, and then another Dexter episode. And they were like, 7-minute episodes. And they do commercials in between. And all the other segments were in the same world as Dexter's Lab, but it was different characters and different stories, right? So like the middle one, they did the Justice Friends, they did Dial M for Monkey, and they did a couple other things, but like it was just really goofy, hilarious superhero stuff. Justice Friends was almost a direct ripoff of like Super Friends and the Avengers. And it was very, very crazy. I think the craziest plot in that one was, so they got three main characters that are living together in an apartment, and they have a laugh track like it's a sitcom. You have Major Glory, who is the patriotic one, Valhalla, who is like the Thor stand-in, he's the Viking god of rock, and the infraggable Krunk, who's Hulk basically, but purple. So those not mine, Jesse. This is Dexter's Lab. But yeah, no, those three are living together in an apartment. And Major Glory's Uncle Sam, yes, the Uncle Sam, is coming over, and he expects them to clean the place and make it absolutely spick and span. And when Uncle Sam actually turns up, he's this big old hippie. Peace, brother. I've changed my ways, man.
Oh, man.
Oh boy, yeah. So that I took a lot of inspiration from Justice Friends from Dexter's Lab. So, but yep. So I like Screw and Batman, the original '60s Batman. You know, I mean, screwball superheroes are underrated. You know what I mean?
You mean the Adam West Batman?
Yeah.
Right. Technically, it's not
Classic.
the original Batman, but I'll let it slide.
No, it's not. But did I say original? But I meant old Batman. Best episodes are with Eartha Kitt as Catwoman. I don't know if you knew that happened.
I watched a lot of it, but I don't remember like who was in it.
You know who Eartha Kitt is?
Yeah, Yzma.
Yeah, Yzma and the lady from Holes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the lady from Ernest Scared Stupid who lives in a junkyard.
Yep. Her voice is one of the most hilarious voices I've ever heard. Anything I hear her in, I'm just dying laughing. I absolutely adore her voice.
Did you know she's music too, though, like singing?
Yes. Oh yeah, Santa Baby. Yeah, she.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she was something else. But when she did Catwoman, it was like an actual character. She's like perfect. She did the perfect like as in that Yzma voice, and it was just like, yes, okay, I'm here for this. This is hilarious. I think she had like a purple fur colored Catmobile.
That sounds like it'd be way better. I don't remember it though. And I remember the episode with the Pharaoh guy. That was weird.
Oh yeah, King Tut. Yeah, they made him up for the show, I think, and then he ended up in the comics later. There's a lot of Batman villains like that. Harley Quinn is one. Harley Quinn was in their animated series before she was in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
I've never really gotten into like the Batman or really any of the Marvel or DC comics. So I always just assumed that Harley Quinn was one of the originals.
Nope, not at all. She's got a great story, but they've never really done it super well on film or otherwise, like outside of the Batman animated show, really. It always gets too weird and perverse because she's with the Joker, or it gets like dumb and ditzy to the point where there's nothing about her, because a lot of people don't remember, but like the whole point of her character from the animated show, like her origin was she was Joker's psych person, and she really believed that she could reform him, and he turned it around on her and broke her. And so like that's a whole other sort of crazy story that no one's really done, you know, outside of comics and the original series, done like a really, really good but not perverse, like psychological horror of this girl getting broken by Joker, you know? And then maybe even a redemption after that, you know, and tying Batman into it. Like it's doable. But yeah.
It sounds like an interesting story.
Mm-hmm. Catwoman. I want to find a picture of Eartha Kitt Catwoman for you. Let's see, because she was. Let me see if I can find the Catmobile. I want the color picture, thank you. Why am I getting all these weird black and whites?
It's not that old.
Yes. So this is actually the Joker. Oh no, she's in there too. Hold on. You can barely see her. I'll get an actual picture of her too, but let me get these real quick. There, and what she actually looked like. Save image. Because she was still prime of her acting career when she did this, and anyone who wanted to do this show knew like it was absolutely ridiculous and over the top, and that's why they wanted to do it. It was meant to be campy. But yeah, these two right here. And there's that Catmobile. That's not the purple one, but this is the same one. They just redid it purple another time. Hilarious.
That's hilarious. Wow.
They changed the actress for Catwoman like 3 or 4 times, but Eartha Kitt was by far my favorite. She's hilarious.
Yeah, I bet her
Boy.
energy she brought to the table was unparalleled.
I don't think anyone, it's saying a lot, but I don't think anyone on the show, including Adam West and Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith, could possibly ham it up nearly as much as she did. Frank Gorshin might have given her a run for her money, but good gracious, she could ham it up.
He's the Riddler?
Riddler, yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him from an episode of The Munsters. Fair Deal Band.
I love the Munsters.
Yeah.
Munsters were great.
I love when I find people who love the Munsters, because not enough people know about the Munsters.
Yeah, everyone just goes Addams Family, and then they go like, I've heard people mention characters from the Munsters, particularly Grandpa and a few others that are just like Grandpa Herman, things like that, and they're like, oh yeah, Addams Family. I'm like, no, Munsters are completely different.
Right?
The joke about the Munsters is that they were just so unbelievably normal, yet were monsters. Like, that was why it was so funny. They're like the nicest people in the whole world. They just so happen to be monsters.
Yeah, and then poor Marilyn, you know, she's the plain one in the family.
Exactly.
Normal looking girl.
Oh boy, this is so much funnier. I like the Addams Family, don't get me wrong. There's things about it that I like. It's creepier, it does the things that it needs to, but it's more surrealist, and like the Munsters is just like happy-go-lucky. Oh, look, we've got a Frankenstein. Yuck, yuck. And I like that. I like that. I miss that kind of TV series that didn't take itself so seriously and was just like, yeah, this is a comedy, straight up. It's ridiculous. Just go with it. We got a little bit of that back with like the mockumentary in the 2000s, but then it just became so formulaic it wasn't even funny anymore, and they didn't even care about the characters. It was more about like political satire and things like that. So, because I'm a big Office and Parks and Rec guy, you know, that kind of thing, but like a lot of the other ones I just couldn't get into, you know. So
Offhand, I can't think of any other ones.
Right? Community is one that everyone talks about to me, and like I can just never get into it, no matter how many times I sit down. And I got through the first season of The Office, and I got through the first like 2 seasons of Parks and Rec, and got through to the other side and enjoyed it. Right? Like they weren't great. They had moments, but they weren't great, and then they became great. Also, I'm like one of the only people in the world, me and my wife, who think that a Dwight spinoff called The Farm, which was based on that one episode toward the end of The Office, would have actually been really great. I don't know if you ever saw that episode, but
funny. That was the one where Pam and Jim go to his house, right?
Not that one. It was the one where he had his like 2 cousins come. His mom died, I think it was. Remember that one?
No.
Dwight's mom died. Yeah. And he comes into the office one day and he has 2 different buckets of dirt. One is black and acidic and one is like red and fertile. And he's doing the whole like quote unquote Pennsylvania Dutch ritual of he's going to throw one of them in your face, and one of them means you're invited to the funeral and one of them means you're not.
I'd like to start that tradition again.
Oh boy. But yeah, it was a backdoor pilot for an idea that where he would either still be doing Dunder Mifflin stuff, but they would have to figure out how that would work, and he would inherit a much larger farm with his it's actually his brother and sister, I think, who came back from various places, and like the story would be about them, and they're competing with other farms and dealing with other stuff. The daughter had a son and wasn't married, and he was like really smart, and Dwight was sort of taking him under his wing. There is all kinds of other just really wacky, ridiculous stuff with Mose and the other characters that were farm related, Shroot Farms related. I thought it would have been great. It was really, really wacky stuff, but
I could see
apparently
it going for
most people hate that episode.
I don't remember it, but I could see a show like that going for a couple seasons. I think it'd be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if
I
he's
like
still
the
like
idea. Everyone goes, Dwight can't be a. Sorry, I don't let me keep interrupting. It's just lag. But I think so many people I've heard just say Dwight just can't be the straight character. He can't be the leading man. He can't this. He can't that. And I'm like, Rainn Wilson is a way better actor than you think he is. He could absolutely play a sympathetic leading man who also has conspiracy theories about the Fae running the Pennsylvania government. Like, he could absolutely pull that off, and I want to see it still. So,
Yeah, I think he can pull it off too. He seems like one of those actors that has more potential than what you get to see.
He's like Looney Tunes as far as his religion, but but he's actually fairly logical outside of his religion. How he comes to his logical conclusions with his religion, Rainn Wilson, what is it? What is that even called?
Now we turn our eyes to the spiritual battlefield. The mood shifts as the brood discusses the harrowing of hell, the complexities of evangelizing different cultures, and Jesse's battle plans for upcoming street preaching.
It's one of these new age ones. The Baha'i faith. Emphasizes unity of all religions and the importance of spiritual transformation for humanity. Basically just basic new age, like, oneness religion sort of thing.
Yoga.
It's very new variation of a lot of Hindu beliefs mixed with Buddhist beliefs. So, but like the really super hyper inclusive that doesn't want to actually name any deities. So.
Sounds like
we are one.
See you in Valhalla.
Right. Oh, Kash Patel. Oh, Kash Patel. Yeah. I cringed when I heard that. I was like, bro, come on, no, bro.
Like, I'm perfectly fine with you just doing your thing as a Hindu, but the moment you start,
didn't you hear? We already destroyed Valhalla. Didn't you hear? Charlie Kirk's people already destroyed Valhalla.
Yeah, a long time ago. They're coming for you next.
Bro, I just thought of something crazy, and I'm not actually putting any weight on this, just goofy, weird, haunted cosmos style conspiracy theory. What if the Harrowing of Hell included Valhalla? Or what the Norse thought of as Valhalla.
What do we mean, the Harrowing of Hell?
Oh, the first Peter whatever passage that talks about Christ went into the grave to preach to the spirits of the souls of the people who died in the flood. So that. Because people usually go, well, that's like Nephilim and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. What if that included Valhalla? Anyway. Just saying.
If we're to, I think this is Pastor Mark who says this.
That's Alex's pastor, right?
If we are,
Pastor Mark, not my Pastor Mark.
This was just something that was, I wasn't there. This is relayed from Alex from Pastor Mark, and this was said as an aside because they were on the topic of Greek mythology or something along those lines. And he said, if we are to assume that the Greeks were correct about a few things regarding how Hades was structured. That is, you have Hades and you have the something.
Elysian
Yeah.
Isle?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
There's like
the
Tartarus,
good
and there's
place.
this, and there's all
And,
all the various levels and stuff. Yeah.
and the entirety of this underworld is surrounded by the river Styx. So if the Greeks were actually more accurate on that, it's possible that Jesus would have baptized them in the river Styx on their way out.
Yep. I remember hearing that. Yep.
When I remember whenever Alex had said that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. I don't. Where's the? That makes sense. I don't. Why? Why does it make sense?
Oh boy.
Sorry, I'm doing a lower thought work.
Just pushing through, trying to get everything done. Pushing through, trying to get everything done.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I'm trying to make up more hours because I'm not in office for very long tomorrow.
Gotcha. So, did you make any progress on a yes or no as far as me working?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I let
it can be off record. It's fine.
Yeah. Off record. I had let Mr. Stewart know earlier. I was like, hey, I've got a friend. He's got a ticket. He's already got a ride and everything. He was wondering if we would have any work. And he was like, I don't think so. Because we're, like you said, we're really doing one main thing, and that's the highlight video. So, I mean, you're there free. If you want to help,
oh yeah.
I don't imagine he'd want to stop you, but he would be like, I don't think we're gonna pay you. So
right. Yeah. I totally understand. That's better than no answer. So
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like,
that.
is there work? Is there some type of work? I mean,
Adrian's in the same situation. He's literally by himself doing one thing.
What's he doing?
So, I don't know. He was asking what y'all were doing. I was like, I don't know.
I think it would be more accurate to say that Adrian is doing everything. That's usually how it goes each year.
It does, but at the same time, he's kind of just like managing for Knox. He's like Knox's stand-in for whatever they've got going on. So yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who makes sure everything gets done behind the scenes.
He might end up hiring me on the spot for something. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be great. Because then
be like, hey, you don't have to give me that $100, but give me a couple hours of your time. I'll be like, cool.
Funny enough, if he does wind up doing that, getting you working on something, that would actually probably mean we would actually be working together, because I might need something from you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
For the video. Oh, yeah. So it's like, that'd be great. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to give much work.
We're at the very least working together on talking about the Brood and talking to people and finding people and doing all that. The other thing I'm pushing is I'm getting business cards done up for. I haven't shown you my business cards before. I do have a couple made, but I have to print at church because I'm low on ink and can't get ink quick enough. But basically, let me grab one. But I'm making business cards for the Brood, and I'm making business cards for my audiobook stuff. With the stuff that I've done for Founders and Joe and other people that they know mentioned. So give me one sec.
And I've got no shortage of mine. I have a huge stack over here. But this is page 50 stuff, not Brood. Do we have like Brood, some kind of like Brood
we should get like pins
or something?
We should do like a pins or something.
Be your family's bar. I know Alex has one. That'd be really fun to have, because I would rock that the whole time. Join the Brood, a new generation of Inklings.
Nice. And then on the back. So This is copy paper in a baseball card top loader. This is how I make business cards. People tend to keep them longer.
Yeah, so for well, actually, it's a good idea to put them in that, keeps them protected. But for long term, if you had a more standardized business card, would you need help with design?
Yeah, duh.
yeah, duh.
My other one looks nicer. Bro, you know me. Like I'm making stuff up and I get good at it and then I get bad at it and then I work like I am Mr. Vision. That's what I do. And keeping things consistent.
When you get that critique, I don't know anybody who works with that critique better, quite frankly.
I get better. That's the thing. I get better and then I find some more critique and then I get better in that direction. And I'm just constantly like moving up. But the thing is, like, all of it is vision in the end. You know what I mean? And so like being able to keep things consistent has never been my key thing other than keeping it going, period. Right? That's the thing that I'm really good at, always further up and further in. But let me see here. Where is the one that I made? Oh, yeah, right, that's where I put it. I'm gonna put the other one in here. I didn't make any physically yet because, like I said, printing. But here's the, oh, hold up, there we go. The front and back of the one that I put together for audiobooks. Very much more basic. You know, I wanted something wacky and out of the blue to for the artists with the Brood one. Something absolutely crazy, you know, Tolkien and Lewis sitting at the table with a bunch of multicolored snakes. What is going on? I don't understand. Right? Then you read the a new Inklings, what? And then the Discord. Like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like, but with the audiobook thing, I'm more like, look, I is professional. I do good audiobook. I don't know why I'm Russian, but here I am. Professional audiobook man.
That's usually how it goes.
Yes.
Man, a Russian accent is so much easier whenever you're eating ice.
It's true.
I mean, I'm sure it's better with vodka, but
I'm taking notes.
it gets you to slur your words just fine. I feel like I'm a drunkard whenever I start eating ice. I can't speak straight.
But if I'm not with you and Adrian, most of the time I will be with Alex and we will be doing our job. I'm only going to be able to make about 20 of each of these and give 10 of each to him and 10 of each for me, and we're just going to try and get into real conversations with people and go from there, I think. Do more of that kind of networking, at least on my part. Because I've heard everybody speak on these topics before.
I already know of a few creatives who would be there. One from California, one from Florida, I think. Well,
Sweet,
that's if he's there. But I already know like a bunch of guys who they wouldn't be prompted on their own unless they saw somebody approach them in a kilt, and then they'd probably be more interested.
See, that's the thing. I'm telling you, the kilt and top hat and all the rest. By the way, I got a vest. It's coming tomorrow. I got a navy blue vest to go over the Hawaiian shirt. I'm gonna tuck the Hawaiian shirt and have the whole thing. All I need is a pocket watch at this point, but I don't have that yet. So, but yeah,
you get like a fake chain that looks like you have one.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, "What's your watch?" And they pull it out.
All that.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited.
Yep.
I really am excited that you're going. Like, I don't think I've expressed that yet. Because at first it was like, oh, it could be something. It could be something that happens, but no, this is really exciting. So you're rooming with Adrian?
Yep.
Awesome. Y'all got is that the Grand Hyatt?
I don't know where he is. Not yet.
I don't know
yet.
either.
But
I'm just guessing.
He said he's got a hotel room
right across the street.
Probably. He said he had a hotel room with two queens. I'm like, sweet, fantastic. I will give you what I can, which is probably about $100 when I can, and maybe cash, and it may be credit on another book, credit on the next book. But I'm gonna make it happen one way or the other, you know. And I'm literally packing peanut butter, jelly, and tortillas because that's my perishable backpack food for when I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to eat. So But that's the thing,
Amen.
you know, it's all the money in the account is for her while she's here, and I'm doing everything that I can to stay on budget rigidly. And
Yes,
so
absolutely.
but being there, doing the thing that I'm doing, like Casey's even said, like, none of this makes sense outside of God's doing. That this happened a week before, like Alex Green, Adrian, you, I don't even, did you see what my actual route getting up there is? What I had to jump through to get that?
You're taking like 2 buses or 1 bus to get up to
shuttle van from Augusta to the Atlanta airport, public train, the MARTA train, up to the north side. Then I'm going to either have someone from my mom's house or an Uber or someone else in the area take me from the station to my mom's house, which is like 20 minutes. And then the next morning, after all that travel, I'm getting up early to go about 30 minutes north to Adrian, whether by my family or an Uber or something. So basically, Adrian's going to take me up from Dawsonville to Nashville, which is about 5 hours. So, but that's the whole journey. And then I'm doing the same thing in reverse coming back. So that Casey can have the car.
You're leaving on Tuesday. You're leaving on Tuesday so that you can leave with Adrian on Wednesday.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's actually not the worst trip that I've heard of so far, because we have a client from the UK who's flying a 17-hour flight to get here, and then he's going to be driving along up to Nashville from Lafayette.
Lafayette. So, oh, goodness gracious!
It's like a 10-hour drive. Yeah, it probably would have been a better idea.
Why couldn't he get like Charlotte or something?
Well, he could have flown straight to Nashville, but he wanted to hang out and see The Office.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
First, and he figured it'd probably be more fun if some of the trip was spent with some Americans that he actually knows.
Fair enough. Oh, goodness gracious! But no, that puts it in mind that I got to go hard on my thing and gets me in better shape mindset wise to be like prepared, because I don't think it's likely I'll get much from you or Adrian, so I need to be focusing on my thing, which is, it's good. And with Alex there, I think with him being the normie next to the crazy guy, I think we're going to be double trouble for real.
Yeah. Well, it'd be worse if I wasn't as indisposed. If I think that's the right word there.
Oh yeah, we would absolutely be crazy triple threat, the three of us. Good gracious.
There will be. I'm sure there will be times where I have the time. It just won't be consistent. But if I walk past and I see you guys talking to somebody, I think it'd probably kill them if there's too much happening.
Well, I'm gonna be glad to see Toby. Do you know Kyle Hessler's coming?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He is. He usually does.
Oh, we have. You do know Kyle.
I do know Kyle. He was on Poets at War.
Really? Wait, what? When was this?
This was after the Knoxville conference, like a couple months after.
Oh, gotcha. So this was a while back, long before my time. Okay. Is he Is he in the server or something? Did I miss him?
No, he's not. I did that one on Zoom back before I had the Discord.
Help with epic poetry being put into an actual wrestling league. It'd probably be him.
Oh yeah, I know. He and I have talked about it.
That.
I haven't read my poetry to him from those, but maybe you can convince him that it's actually really good and not something absolutely insane.
Well, no. All I would need to tell him is that it is absolutely insane.
Right.
And he'd be on board. Because that's all wrestling is.
Exactly.
It's absolutely
I don't know if you've seen,
but
the whole Sora 2 thing that's come out, and like you're seeing all the stuff in the feeds and whatnot, the Sora 2 videos and whatnot. Some of the absolute funniest ones. Yeah, the horse one was ridiculous. But like the stuff people are coming up with in wrestling is absolutely insane. And what's really hilarious is the fact that it knows nothing about wrestling moves whatsoever. And so everything looks like two people like running at each other and then stopping and then like flipping back over each other and falling in just really weird ways. I saw Harambe versus Stephen Hawking on the top of a steel cage. And Harambe threw Stephen Hawking off. I saw I saw Steve Irwin wrestling a stingray. That was really weird. Then I saw Bill Cosby coming to the ring with a bunch of females in it, and he's like carrying a tray of drinks. And they call him the Knockout King. Like the wrestling ones are absolutely. I've seen Princess Diana cut promos on the Queen. I saw Gandhi cutting a promo. I saw Mr. Rogers joining the NWO, which is like the most notorious gang of bad guys. Hilarious.
Have you ever seen UHF?
What'd you say?
Have you ever seen UHF?
Not fully, but yes.
Okay.
Most of it.
You think of whenever he's like pitching ideas for shows and he's like, The Return of Gandhi or Conan the Librarian.
Yeah. Basically that's what this is. Yeah. Like the wrestling ones are so ridiculous.
Well, right.
I saw Macho Man subbing in for Bob Ross. That was pretty great. Some happy little trees here. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Some happy little trees. And right here in the middle of the crop, we're going to put the cream. And we're going to give him a little friend, too. The second
and
cream of the crop. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. Did you ever see the Slim Jim commercials from the 90s with him?
I don't think so.
You should see those when you get a chance. They're really funny. They're like the peak, like fisheye lens on the teacher who's just too strict to these extreme kiddos, sort of, ridiculous 90s commercials. You know what I'm talking about?
Sorry, 1 second. I saw an email that's 8 days old that I haven't seen until just now. Give me a second.
Yes, focus on work.
That's me with the work chat. I'm like, sorry, I didn't see this message for a month.
Oh, boy.
I was going to work for a month, and then I finally checked my messages on the little app that they have, and I saw they were trying to get a hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what was the question?
Those 90s commercials where the kids are just trying to be extreme and enjoy their day, and then like we get the fisheye lens on the teacher who's like, we don't do that, most unorthodox, and then it's, some wacky mascot character comes in and totally just like destroys the teacher and throws them into orbit or something, and then gives the kids the sugary snack. You know this formula. Yes,
the gods return and free us from our oppressors.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So you know exactly what the kind of formula for a 90s commercial I'm talking about, yes?
I wish we could bring them back.
Right? Except maybe let's get rid of the parenting, hating on parents. But outside of that, I'm all for it. But they would do that, but Macho Man was the crazy god character, right? So you'd have a bunch of kids, like high school, being like, coach is just ragging on us, man. We're not going to be able to go join the band or something like that. And the coach is like, drop and give me 500. Fisheye lens right up on his face. And then Macho Man like busts through the wall. It's like, need a little excitement? Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
That seems on brand for them too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I forgot to do this. Okay, actually, this doesn't require much thinking.
And then he'd take like 3 Slim Jims, and they're all like partially unwrapped, and he's holding them in his hand. He's wearing the red and yellow like the Slim Jims, and a big old red and yellow cowboy hat with crazy glasses like you see him. Whatever, he got tassels all down his arm, and he's got these Slim Jims, and he just goes like that, and bites it, and it gives a whip sound effect like whoosh. Just great.
That's so kitschy.
I'm not exaggerating about any of this, by the way.
No, I think you're underselling it. If anything, I'm sure it's way better.
It's like Kool-Aid Man commercials on cocaine. It's amazing.
Although, yeah, like Airhead commercials are ridiculous.
Airheads. Honeycomb, me want honeycomb. Have you seen those?
Oh, man. I don't think I've seen honeycombs. Although I can understand why.
Let me find the Nightmare Fuel character that they had. Oh, what was his name? I never learned his name. The mascot for Honeycomb from the 90s. Let me see here. This is what he looked like.
Was it Honeycomb?
Just look up. No, let me do it. Hold on. I'll do it. Save image. Yeah, the cereal Honeycomb, right? They variably had like a puppet version of him, and then like early creepy CG versions of him. I'm gonna find out his name. But yeah, this is a picture of what he looked like. This was the kind of the puppet version, I think. And he would make kids' eyes pop out of their head in creepy CG ways, and make them crave the honeycomb and turn into a beast like him and go after the honeycomb.
That's truly frightening.
Here's a CG version. Hold on.
Oh, goody.
I have to find his name.
Wow.
Apparently the name was he was just called the Crazy Craving. Or Crazy Craving.
Wow.
And they broadcast this to children?
Oh, I know, right? Like, he was absolute nightmare fuel.
That is horrifying.
I'm recording.
I'm gonna have to head out. See you guys.
All right. We'll see you. Have a good one, Abby.
Thanks for having me.
I have to go in 7 minutes because I have a job to do. I don't know if I told you, but I'm driving to my mom's house tomorrow because we're going to go upgrade Joe's streaming system. They bought some webcams that are going to be stationary, some nicer ones and some newer ones, and basically like set up OBS to switch it. So it's going to be pretty simple. They don't even have a PA for that room because Joe's loud enough and it's not a huge room. And so basically all that needs to be done is the new cameras. They just have a mic feeding in that he wears on his lapel. It doesn't even go to a PA or anything. So it's a very simple system. It's just going to be a matter of running big old long powered USB cables through the drop ceiling to get to the webcams. So, but yep.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that.
I think it's hilarious how excited you are to see me.
What do you mean?
I'm excited to see you too, but it makes me happy just because like I feel like I'm starting to know you enough to where I can tell when it's like I know exactly when you're being like overtly sincere. And this is one of those times, you know what I mean? Like you're just gonna be excited to be like around me and see people's reactions to me. You're like, this is gonna be crazy.
Dude, it's gonna be so funny to watch. And of course, like in the back of my head, I'm like, man, this guy's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's exactly why we're friends.
Exactly why we're friends. Yes.
Because he can say the same about me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, dude, that is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. And people will remember me too. That's the other thing. Like even from the couple years ago, I'm sure not just people I know. Even people be like, "Oh God, the kilt guy is back," whatever. So like,
oh no, it's him.
I don't think anyone was really like that, other than
Yeah.
there might have been some pearl clutching moms, or like some other highfalutin fundamentalist pastors or something like that, but like what my interactions with the main folks. I also had interactions at that first one with Vodi Bakum, and some of the other folks that were there. Doug Tenaple loved everything about all that I was doing.
I wonder if Doug Tenaple is going to be there this year. That'd be pretty fun.
Oh, that'd be so good. I hope he is.
I did meet him and had a little conversation. I didn't really know for sure who he was. I only knew about him. And then I realized he was a much bigger deal than I realized at the time. And I was like, this guy's just down to earth. He's fun. That'd be really cool if he was there. So what day are you leaving?
I'm leaving my house Tuesday around 3 p.m. to on the shuttle. I'm leaving at 3. My shuttle is at 3. That'll take me between 2.5 and 3 hours, probably closer to 2.5, to get to the airport. From there, I have to walk through terminal stuff and things like that to the MARTA station, which is not super far, but I mean, it's airport far. You go from there. I go from the south end of Atlanta up to the north end, past the perimeter to what is called Sandy Springs. I'll show you a map, what it looks like. Let me just put it all in a map. And
are you gonna be vlogging the whole time, or just the conference part?
I probably will vlog the whole time. Probably end up, if I'm not careful, vlogging more on the travel than on the actual thing, because I'm like that. I get in the zone in person, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But then, how do I make a video out of it? Right?
Yeah, exactly. I understand completely. If you're lucky, you might be seated next to a Hindu Indian. You'll be able to share the gospel with him, but that's only if you have 4 hours.
That'd be fun. You know what's really great?
They're so interesting.
They are. I wish I could have that conversation. I've never had the conversation I want to have with them, which is basically this. I want to focus it as, not only is this backwoods Jesus the chosen one, he's the chosen one of every race. And I can give you one example of that very directly in the High King of all kings over Ireland. Go into that whole thing. I think I've given that one to you before.
Yes, I don't know if an Indian would give a flip about that though.
I have had a Christian Indian care about it, but he was fairly new.
But if he was already a Christian, then he's already coming to the understanding that I should learn more.
I want to try it. I want to try it because of the fact that they are so pluralistic that and I know that they're fine with no power rankings basically, right? But actually talking about the chosen one fulfilling all of everything for the entirety of mankind, and pointing out not just Ireland but other cultures where he fulfills things that no one else could, I think is something that would at least have such an effect that they would think about it. Because most Christians don't come at it that way. They come at it tearing down the idols, as opposed to saying, no, he's actually better than all the idols. It's the Hebrews argument. I don't hear anyone use Hebrews to talk to a Hindu. And I kind of want to know what happens. So.
It was the only interaction I've had with one where I actually got to share the gospel. I first tried to understand as much of his religion before, had him talking for 45 minutes about it, and then I spent the next 2 hours with him being engaged the whole time, going through the account of creation and Jesus's ministry, death and resurrection. And by the end of it, I think he was at the very least emotionally moved, and I hope perhaps convicted of his sins by the end of that interaction. It seemed pretty good. And I do at one point I had gotten.
What was your tactic?
What was my tactic? Well, first, just approaching it with like I want to learn more about you and what you believed. And then I went through at creation, God made everything. We fell. I mean, how do you sum up a 3-hour conversation, right? But
yeah.
Eventually,
so you're using basic Romans road, right?
Right. It was the idea of Hinduism and Buddhism all is one. You have things like karma. He in particular followed Krishna.
Krishna.
And there's
he's a Hare Krishna.
Yeah. And so his lord Krishna has this idea that you have to fight evil. That is your duty. There's another word that's used for it. I think it's bata or something. Don't quote me on that. But their solemn duty is to fight evil. And karma is what happens in a previous life. Like if you do bad, bad will be done unto you. And so I got to the point where I was talking about Jesus. This was later on in the argument, or in the conversation. It wasn't a debate. Where I'm explaining the whole ministry of Jesus and just how good of a guy he was. And then all of a sudden, he gets the worst death in like history.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? If you do good and good is done onto you, then why is the man who's done the most good receiving the worst possible treatment?
Right.
Because you couldn't.
Right.
Because he died for your sins. And he actually he contemplated it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, so I actually wound up getting his email, and at some point I do want to pick up a copy of the Bhagavad Gita so that I can actually seek to understand more about Hinduism. And in turn,
Krishna,
he would hopefully...
Just so you know, Krishna specifically is sort of the Mormonism of Hinduism. Granted, they're more pluralistic, but it is more of the more recent sort of offshoot.
Right, because their idea is that
yeah,
when their gods can die and be replaced and reincarnated.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I would assume Krishna is a newer form of that.
Yes.
So kind of like Mormonism, the Mormon Hindus.
Yeah. I haven't studied as much on Krishna as a lot of the earliest versions, because I like to, when the very few times I do have interaction with them, I want to be able to talk. Because here's the thing, and I can't stay much longer because I really do need to sleep and get up early. But if I was not a Christian, I would be a Hindu. And the reason is because I think it's clear that all is one, and yet there are many. There is supernatural. Most Buddhists are atheists in the United States. And the ones in the East are completely mystic to the point where a lot of them would question the reality of physicality. Whereas Hinduism is it's the duality of spiritual and physicality every day. Everything is spiritual, everything is physical. It's all one and yet many. Like it's observable.
It's closer to that confused truth.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
than most are.
And they're accepting of everything. Every story that moves you, you can incorporate into your thing. They have a hierarchical understanding of the cosmos with reincarnation and the way things, some things are just plain better, some things are just plain worse, people, places, stuff, etc. And so it's closer to observable reality than anything else, which is why it's one of the longest standing religions out there. But it really goes back to the Canaanites in a lot of ways. And so
absolutely,
I totally think that is, it's hard to argue with them because they're so slippery. This is what all I've ever heard about them. There aren't many here. But there are a fair amount in Atlanta, but most of them are atheist and not practicing. And so it's just this, it's this weird thing, man. Like, I definitely have a heart for those people. They get a lot of the aesthetic stuff that I'm trying to do with colors, even amongst the males, people who are living vibrant lives. They still appreciate dance. They still appreciate music and singing in a way that isn't just aesthetic, it's spiritual. They appreciate that. They love family. They love each other. They try to love neighbor. They're amazing people. And I just haven't been given the opportunity to really go into that field exactly as far as doing any kind of evangelizing. But my biggest crisis of faith was, why this guy? Why does he, this backwoods Jewish dude, get to have any say, in this situation? I understand for the Jews and what he fulfilled for them. Why this random Irish, Scandinavian Cherokee guy in Georgia in 2025? And the answer is because he's the idea of the chosen one exists because of him. Because he literally fulfills every chosen one myth in all of creation ever. On every level. That is why, why I'm still a Christian, because I think I would be anyway, but it's the thing that got me through my biggest crisis of faith I've ever had in my life. And it wasn't even a real doubt. It wasn't even really, but I was just like, I'm sure there's an answer. Where is it? You know what I mean? Like, this is really hard. And fiction was the thing that did it for me and opened that up. It was the Song of Albion trilogy, which I've talked to you about before. That's what did it. And then I saw it in the Bible, in various places, Hebrews especially, and then it was like, there it is. So anyway,
absolutely.
Was there anything further? I gotta get going.
Yeah, the last thing. If you could keep me in petition, because tomorrow I'm going to a university to do some campus preaching. Starting around like the lunch rush and going on. University of Louisiana in Lafayette. Not a terribly big one, but there is certainly a large amount of liberals. I'm not worried about physical safety. It's more just like boldness, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend who I was going to be doing it with, and he backed out last minute, which is a little bit of a bummer. It's because he had something else come up, but this had been on the calendar for like several months. So him backing out last minute was kind of disappointing, in some ways. But he was still like, I hope you preach faithfully, because he wasn't. It's not like he ghosted me. That would be a different thing.
Yeah.
But it is different whenever you like. I originally was gonna go alone, and then he was like, "Hey, I'd like to tag along," and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely, you can come along if you'd like." It does change your mindset when you don't have at least one person there. And I think throughout the day, I have some church members who might like stop by and check it out, but I don't think they understand exactly what like campus evangelism is like. But the style I'm going for is more of a open air preaching and engagement rather than just individual conversations. It's meant to be a more robust thing.
What is your are you expositing from a passage? What are you doing?
Possibly. That's what I'm actually looking into tonight, because part of the thing with going to evangelize and like public preaching like that is that you don't actually know what is going to get people's attention.
Well, of course, yeah.
I mean, the big stuff is like women are not equal to men.
You still go in with a plan, yeah.
Role. Yeah. You have general ideas and talking points you can use, but you might start off in Ezekiel, gets nobody's attention, and then you go into Esther, and for some reason somebody's like, as in you never know for sure. So I'm trying to figure out what passage I do want to start reading from, because I do want to start reading from a passage. I'd done that at Festival International, where I read Isaiah 53. It didn't really get too many people's attention. Nobody really sat by. It was more of a Everybody thinks I'm crazy, so now I can do whatever I want, which is actually very helpful. But it does help get you started in a direction. So I'm not sure which passage to use yet. So I'm gonna have to look into that. And then this Saturday, I definitely picked way too many things to do this month. This Saturday, I have a thing at the local cemetery where we're doing some cemetery tours where I'm going to be playing a Army Air Corps guy who died in New Mexico in a training accident and kind of recounting his life. Turns out this guy was the nephew, the nephew of the guy who assassinated Senator Huey P. Long. That's not the main reason why he's relevant here, but it is like it is interesting, and it actually made me look more into the case. But anyway, I hardly have time to prepare for that and get the work done this weekend, and also go campus preaching, which I'm totally fine with being super busy. But I was like, man, there's going to be a lot of preparation for a lot of different things this weekend. So yeah, just a couple things for this weekend, particularly tomorrow.
I'll keep that in prayer. You have me thinking on the street preaching thing because you're preaching to Catholics mostly, yeah? Or at least raised Catholic atheist kids?
It's probably, I'd say the biggest one is Lafayette. The biggest one would be non-denom Baptists. And then behind that would be Catholics. And I would say the largest chunk out of that, like, Venn diagram of these groups here, Catholic, non-denom, a great portion is taken where the atheists are, or agnostic, or apostate, stuff like that. People who have left the faith, never really had it, all that good stuff. But I mean, it's a secular school of thought, and a college ought to be a place of reason, of logic, of debate.
Yeah.
So
I'm all
the goal
for
is
it.
to invite that.
You literally just got me thinking about like the reasons I've had in my brain that I haven't done something of that nature, and part of it is my appreciation for the office of pastor. And that's not an excuse. That's something I hold in extremely high regard. I don't like using terms like preaching for street preaching. I understand the reasoning for it, whatever, but just terminology, I have issues with it.
I understand. Whenever I say street preaching, I'm not saying in the office of pastor.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I know exactly where you're at. But I was just trying to think of my reasons, and here, mine is because the majority that I would probably be dealing with in most of the colleges around here would be Black liberation theology or black cults.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not a very large represented group, and it's mainly in Opelousas, and I haven't really had to deal with them yet. But Black Hebrew Israelites are a thing over here.
Yep, we have them here.
We
have them here too.
Yeah, they're pretty fun to interact with because they have no scriptural basis for anything beyond hair like wool, which is talking about a prophecy, not a. Anyway, yeah.
I would be singing. I would likely, the way I would likely deal with them if they ever came to mess something up, is to think of the most white sounding tunes to the Psalms that you can think of, and sing them as loud as you can.
The first thing, this is terrible. The first thing that came to mind was trying to set a psalm to Cotton Eye Joe.
I was thinking of really bad. I forget which one, but I think it's like 104 or something like that. Brendan has a version of a version to the tune of Valhalla Calling Me.
Oh man.
So that would be fun. Valhalla Calling Me. It's like a modern pagan Norse song that became popular on YouTube with the whole Vikings craze and whatever else. But I also have plenty of others. The one that immediately comes to mind is like Super Welsh. You could do Aberystwyth Psalm 2. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correct, but why do heathen nations rage? Why vain things do people mind? And be like, that's scripture, sir. Explain yourself. That's a white man's scripture. No, it's in your book. You're the one your Black King James wrote.
Yeah, I mean, I know I have a Psalm 2 to the Diademata.
Yep.
That's a pretty fun one. Why do the nations rage? It's a pretty good one. But yeah, I mean, as far as preaching good, I had said that thing about my friend who had backed out. I actually don't hold it against him because one, he has an actual obligation that he has to deal with, and two, this was actually something that came up a while back at the last time we went doing evangelism like this, where some of his church members just ghosted, and I had the opportunity to be like, "Hey, man, I know you're disappointed in them, but whenever you see them, just understand that they aren't ready for this kind of stuff, and they might not be. And it's more important to give them grace." So here I'm like, obviously the reason why is because of obligations, but even if it wasn't, I would actually think it's an even better opportunity to help him with that. But still, it is now it is just going to be one. So it's a lot different.
See, now I really want to do it with you, but I feel like I'm putting you in the danger zone because of how real and intense that I can get in those situations. Not with anger, but man, do I know how to get people's goat. I feel like I'm a lightning rod in those kind of situations.
You know, as far as getting people passionate about it, or like actually mad.
Both.
Oh, I can do my fair share of the getting mad. I've never had to use it with you though, so you're good. Because you're not a liberal.
well, like I said, like I'm actually pretty good at holding my temper and then flaring it on command when I need to. But I'm not good at smoothing things over when people have already gotten heated.
It's very difficult.
It needs to be smoothed over, right? I'm a lightning rod that intensifies things, whatever is going on. So as soon as you start adding negative energy from other people, I'm going to make it worse.
I guess tomorrow will be a testing. If people get like disagreeable, it'll be a testing of this, because my content, that's not the right word, my approach to it, like the idea that I have is it's actually more funny inside whenever people get really mad than it actually frustrates me. It doesn't frustrate me as much as it is funny. But I also understand in the moment, whenever things get heated, it is a lot more difficult to see those lines. They get very blurred. You can say things you regret. So the goal is like, don't let my emotions get ahead of me.
You too can be a part of the brood of writers and poets at war. Just visit joshuadavidling.com/discord to join. If you're a true poetry patriot, you can support us on Substack and Patreon, and get recordings of all our encouraging and strategic meetings, along with much more. Once again, all links can be found at joshuadavidling.com. Remember, troops, be your family's bar. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We'll see you next time in the trenches on Poets at War. Over and out.
God of song said